Here comes another one, Paulo reported at the telescope. For days he had been out there every night observing the many burning bits across the sky. Streaks of fire shot by several times an hour, but there was little magical about it, since everyone knew what they really were. And if there was any doubt, this next one burned down towards the Comariero Plateau, landing with a ground-shaking thud within sight of the castle. A team rushed out to the crash site. They only found wreckage and the bodies of 5 crew close by. Getting out of the wreck had been their final act. Issa, keeping her eyes forwards, strode past them to the crashed ship. It was a small white shuttlecraft, not unlike the one she herself had come down in. It's another pile of stuff for us then. We'll get revenge on behalf of the crew, Boy said of the scene. There were so many people in the darkness of the sky, Kerma said. All out there, knowing nothing of the Kote, but it came for them anyway. Going up there could be what makes it come to us at last. I thought you wanted to go. I do, as long as I see you die first, Big Chief. Thanks. Issa, can we use this thing? Issa pulled herself out of the shuttle. Had the computer still running for a moment there. Something's going on. IPA was sending these crazy messages about nothing, just words, and emergency signals from IPA ships. It is a battlefield, and we are the underworld from where the spirits of Kote will rise next time, Comariero said. Maybe these escapees are causing more trouble than we thought, Paulo said. Then again, neither shuttle had much weaponry, just meteoroid defense beams. No way they're making a dent in IPA shielding systems. I saw what I saw. I think it's good, Issa said. Any kind of chaos up there will make our ascent easier and quieter, if your friends ever return from their little trip. Oh, are you okay? Bloody... Boy muttered with his head in his hands. Paulo and Comariero were doing the same. The voice of the Kote awakens again, Comariero said. It wants us to destroy. What? I can't hear it. Destroy me. It's saying destroy me itself, Boy said. It's a psychic emission. Same theory as the Timefall, but changes the energy states of your neurons, Paulo said. All the movers can do it, as part of the terraforming to control animals. And if it's using it on us, I don't know how that's even possible. And you're right. The Whispers, it's asking us to destroy massive? The rolling mass, Comariero concluded. I don't hear anything, by the way, Kerma butted in. It's targeted. It can't speak to anyone. Depends on your physiology, genetics, Paulo explained. Discrimination at play, Est smirked. Death robots! A distant voice echoed. Wait, I can hear it now, Est added. Run! Death robots! Another, less distant voice said. We have to bring death to the robots, the living metal it means, Boy nodded. Hey, you butters gonna run or what and what butter? Huntsman was suddenly asking of them, arriving at the head of a herd of megasheep. Oh, I get it, Paulo said. Everyone else soon got it, and what it was that not only were the away team back home, but they were being pursued by a load of death robots. Those robots didn't follow them into the castle though, and instead hovered back around a rocky embankment beside the main road. A little spying revealed yet another mover finger humming away in the sand there. The mover appendages act as antennae, Paulo explained over the welcome home dinner. It's broadcasting messages from the mover to specific targets. Not that much of a message though, is it? Destroy me, kill me, massive stuff, Holt said. It's not saying that to me, Huntsman said. Sounds more like, I don't know, just words, whispered all kinds of vacuum, like my own demons. In fact, better not even rule that out, butter. Yeah, it stopped saying anything to me, Boy shrugged. Wonk, you hear it? It's only hitting men. Said that it was looking for me, but it's trapped now, Staves nodded calmly. That's definitely the demons, not getting that from the emissions, Paulo said. Also it wants us to destroy something massive, Staves added. The whole mass, Comariero growled with wide eyes. Let's not do that, Lady said. We should go explode the metal mover then, like usual.
Dunno, that was a whole lot of death robots there. And remember what happened last time, Starlight? Huntsman said.
Oh right, Shah.
Sure. I'll do it,
Tokka declared. No, we'll do something clever, he means, Boy said, but Tokka was already leaving the hall. Hey, what? Wait!
Get your guns ready,
Tokka said as she stormed off. Well, I am tired of these creepy whispers. Why not do it now? Paulo said. I'll shoot the thunderbolt, Stave said, racing off to the mortar kit. As for Tokka, she had run out through the castle's narrow gateway at the northwest corner and gone out to the savannah to stalk the death robots. The others assembled on and around the castle wall, watching Tokka creep forwards. She'll bring those living armors here, Boy said. Then we blast them once they're so close that they'll be pebbles before they shoot back. Where should I shoot? Stave shouted from the mortar kit, which was in the southwest corner. Can you set it up to drop an EMP shell 300 meters due west, maybe shy 5 degrees or so? Paulo called back. No, came the reply. What about you guys? Paulo asked of Issa and Est, who were crouching by the wall holding assault rifles with clear discomfort. Not really sure what you want from us. This is a surface problem, Est said.
She's down,
Huntsman shouted. He was using the telescope to look through a firing port in the wall, and indeed, downrange, Tokka had got the attention of the death robots, but then been struck right down as she turned to run home. Damn, I'm going, Boy announced, drawing his longsword. You cannot destroy the mass alone, Camariero said. Boy, what are you doing? Lady said, grabbing a hold of him. Tokka, I got her here. I bought her. She's my slave, remember? Only one way to repay her for that. She lives, alright? What about you? About me? You're not a slave anymore, lady. You can do this on your own, if you need to. What if I just don't want you to die? Stop saying I'll die. Crazy men, take this, Est said. She was removing her belt, a blocky plastisteel monstrosity. She offered it to Boy. It'll save you. Right. Well, if you want, Space Wonk. Quickly, though.
We'll handle a distraction. Let's shoot 'em up from the other side, Huntsman said.
While Boy raced out towards Tokka, the rest of the crew swung around to the left to shoot at the robots from another angle. As Boy approached the spot where Tokka lay in the dirt, the insectoid robots took notice and started thumping away with slug launchers. Boy had to stop and pick Tokka up, which was no easy feat given that she was wearing battle armor, though it was a little lighter for a hole in the hip. As he heaved her over his shoulder, the sound of a slug whooshing past coincided with a jolt from the strange belt Est had pressed upon him. It thumped around his waist a few more times as shots hissed past and scattered in the nearby dirt. Shield belt. Even the Tets didn't have those. Several pinpoint shots were redirected, and hence the big, slow target of Boy and Tokka with one pair of working legs between them escaped the danger zone with no further injuries other than a slight burn from the belt. Meanwhile, a gun battle had broken out in another direction thanks to the rest of the crew. They kept their distance and took potshots from behind rocks for a while. A long time was spent trying to relay to Staves how to target the mortar, which came to nothing. The secrets of its operation had gone to the grave with Shah, it seemed. But the whole situation was resolved thanks to the arrival of a team of Tetius soldiers. They had been following the megasheep herd at a distance and now stumbled into the battle. Acting as ample distraction, Huntsman charged out with a shotgun and floored the robots one by one up close, then emptied all his pockets of shells into the side of the mover piece. Sure enough, the little hum in the back of his head seemed to die down. And to complete this happy ending, Tokka was alright too, back on her feet within a day thanks to her armor, and thanks to Boy.
You saved me, again,
Tokka said to him as he helped her out of a tall bed in the medical chalet. No problem, it's my responsibility, Boy said.
Not true. I came here because of Shar, and she came down here because of me. If I get killed, that's no one's fault but mine.
Uh-huh. You forget I own you, so I can tell you to stay alive, and you have to do it, alright?
Is that a joke?
I dunno. Just do it anyway, will you?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Might still be listening to those weird curses if you hadn't got us moving.
I won't do it again.
Won't need to. Last day here's coming up. Go take a look. Boy was talking about the great strides being made in the shed. Now that the caravan to Bystone was back, they had all manner of exotic parts and useful materials to add to their creation. No time was being wasted, with day and night noise coming from all parts of the growing craft. The stuff the Southern Tets had collected was pretty special. The ship was now going to have plasma cannons, deflective armor, a heat management system, and a cloaking array. This beast they were building was not a mere ship, but a battleship. Just a very small one, built by relative amateurs in a shed. Luckily, all this complex sounding stuff was pretty much flat pack gear that anyone with a cosmic quill could assemble, which was nice. It wasn't long before the thing was ready to fly, and maybe ready to fight. But a few more preparations in the castle needed to be made, as the ship didn't have room for a zoo. Yes, Staves's vast collection of things was going to have to be left behind. A herd of mega sheep, less mega sheep, donkeys, slow shells, emus, some of the huskies, some general furry lumps, big grey things resembling elephants, and Staves was assembled. The destination, a nearby Bokka trading camp, who would see the creatures onto new homes across the region.
Wonk, Staves, let me go with you,
Lady offered amid a field of creatures.
I'm not going to sell you. I love you too much,
Staves replied plain-facedly. Lady hated when he did that.
You're not too upset, are you? Yeah, but I'll just do it anyway. That's how it always was. We're keeping Cannibal. She'll be lonely. She'll have you. I know. I think she liked it, being with the other dogs here. She's too old to walk to the camp now anyway. Really, she always runs around here. I don't think she's that weak. She will be now. That's why we have to get back quickly. Okay, let's go. I'll help you. Thanks. That will make it easier to come back. Staves, come on.
Hey, wait! Holt shouted, rushing over to them. I'm coming too. He's just gonna try and get even more animals out there.
How'd you know? Staves sighed. I'll make sure we do what needs to be done, Lady said.
Sorry, but he'll convince you with his bardic charms, I bet. Ain't you in love with him or something?
What? Why? Mr. Holt, you can come if you want, but you can't tell anyone who I love anymore, Staves offered.
Well, that's a trucking deal, I suppose. Let's get some silver. We'll have some more staff to pay when we get back, if Satsuki wasn't pulling our tails.
You love Satsuki, don't you?
Staves asked. I don't want to explain that. Just go, Holt mumbled. The convoy of creatures wound down the road all day, then was exchanged for a hefty price in silver to a large gathering of animal traders. A fair few had come from far away to get a piece of the rumoured clearance sale of well-proven pack animals. The whole plateau was quite busy, as the Tet Rangers who had intervened earlier were now patrolling all about, rounding up any remote humans into the central Bokka camps. It was the usual first stage of a Tetius takeover, and the next stage was ready by the time Staves, Lady and Holt got back. A group of a half-dozen unfamiliar faces were lazing around in the hall. Cannibal, along with a couple of other huskies who had been spared sail after sufficient pleading, were very happy to sniff the well-travelled shoes of these Tet staffers. Nope, no idea who they are, Holt said to the rest of the crew outside. They'll do the job though. Maybe it won't matter to us anyway. They're not going to be able to handle the crops, Boy said.
Maybe they will hunt. We can laugh at their failures later, Kerma said. Sounds like these Tedious guys have been holding down forts for thousands of years, Paulo said. We gotta trust them, right?
Nope, but I got a different field waiting for me on another bloody bit entirely, Boy said.
Is the ship ready?
Lady asked.
Might as well be, Issa reported.
Then let's not waste any more time. Tomorrow morning we're going back up, Boy said, pointing to the sky. We'll load up all the food. Hope we have enough. We got the shuttle, Est said. We can have it burn back and forth, since we got all these Euripods. The rats we leave here can send food into orbit as we need it. That's how it usually works, traveling in system. Remember, all the stuff that's up there might not be much of it, but it's all far away, Paulo said. Local space travel is cold and boring. I will tend to a fire to bind us together, Camarero offered. Really bad idea. Should we go over the safety tips again? In the morning. Let's get out of here before these idiots try and work the heresy bulbs, Boy concluded. The next day, the ship's cupboards were filled floor to ceiling with food. The nuclear reactor started cycling potent uranium sludge. The cramped dormitory became cluttered with personal effects, and the whole thing was filled with freshly baked oxygen. It was space time. We'll start with another test, since we've overhauled so much of this thing, Issa declared. A lap of the planet perhaps, then we'll come back and fix everything. With this cloaking unit, the IPA shouldn't be able to see us without a very strong scanner pointed right at us. Unless it doesn't work, in which case we'll be in trouble. Same for all the other components. What's your confidence level, Est? Willing to be on the ship. Gonna leave my last words outside though, Est reported. That was enough to leave the belt. It's enough to leave this charming castle. I just hope Zoc and Emma manage to get somewhere safe. If we cause a lot of trouble as we go, we might secure a route out for them, and many more. I expect he wouldn't admit he was wrong even if we swept him up in a net and sent him back home. Too late for that. No boss now. Except for you and I, ruling over our auxiliary crew. How much is there to finish before we're not entirely likely to die? There's a lot of work to go on the exterior. Need 0G, so hope those things there work. Est was referring to a pile of OPA spacesuits and helmets taking up one corner of the triangular bridge section. They had been acquired from the Bystone Hall, and were of course all very much in used condition. In theory they still worked, and what better way to investigate a theory than a test? Everyone took their positions, which in many cases was crouched over a bucket, and the ship's now even bigger rocket engines roared to life. The Tetius minders watched the ship blast off into the sky in awe. Usually, they only ever came down. Like before, it took a few minutes of unsteady rocketing before Reticot's atmosphere was left behind, allowing the craft to drift comfortably in orbit. Who wants to go outside then? Issa offered. Boy felt obliged to volunteer, which prompted Huntsman to match the display, and they noticed Tokka was already wearing a spacesuit. It looked like she was saying something, but the airtight helmet muffled it almost entirely. After putting helmets on themselves, Boy and Huntsman could suddenly hear her through internal speakers. You have to close the valve on the side, she was saying. Apparently she was pretty familiar with vacuum work, which allowed the three of them to present themselves to Issa and Est with an impressively competent space-ready getup. There's hope yet, Issa smiled. Now, just need to attach all the extra hull plates in the back. I'll guide you over the radio and keep watch. We just go outside then? Boy asked. Issa poked at his suit and gestured for him to repeat it. This time the sound was relayed through a speaker on his chest. Those cosmic people think of everything. Yes, just step out. Well, there's nothing to step on. You need to use the tether rails around the top of the hull. You remember those?
I reckon we'll figure it out,
Huntsman said. At the back of the ship was an airlock door that led out to nothing. From this door, the space-suited trio emerged. Indeed, there was a system of rails around the outside of the ship they could rope themselves onto. But it was hard to focus on attending to that, with the entire cosmos looming in all directions. I'm floating, Boy noted.
No gravidoffs out here, butter, Huntsman explained. Not that this explained much.
Boy, can you hear me? What's it like? Lady's voice said.
It's like falling forever, but not at all. This is how the Overlord feels, looking down at us. We shouldn't be doing this, Boy worried.
Is it true that there isn't any air out there? Staves asked.
Not exactly windy, butter, Huntsman said.
If there's no wind, won't the blowwork things turn off?
Not even slightly how it works, butter. How'd you even get this far?
I just followed the pictures in the books. Same as with the spaceship.
Fair point. Guess we're doing pretty well. It's so slow moving when you can't push off anything, butter.
Stay safe, Manny, Lady said.
Hey, quiet!
Wait, what? Paulo's voice asked.
You all heard that?
This is a radio. Nothing private here, Manny, Issa reported.
These tethers are wasted time. I'll just take my chances jumping out there.
Remember the safety briefing.
I was joking, Butter.
So was I. Isn't space work fun?
It wasn't, but it was work that needed doing. The spacewalkers had more bits of the ship to weld on, and plenty of things that needed constant inspection as Issa ran through a seemingly endless menu of flight checks. Far below, Redicott was spinning around much faster than usual, or rather, they were spinning around it. Inside the ship, everyone was getting used to their new, tiny lives. The dormitory was essentially a corridor with 10 beds crammed in side by side, such that in effect it was just one long bed. Life in space is intimate, if nothing else. When they first tried to use this arrangement, they found they were sharing the bed with a large number of slow shells too. Staves had successfully smuggled them all in with the bedding, an achievement he denied having carried out. This was space then. The plan now was many-fold and poorly understood, but roughly involved finding ways to fly out of the system, not getting killed by the IPA, and perhaps sabotaging whatever the IPA were currently up to. Simple enough, right? Wrong. And concurrent events on the planet's surface weren't going to make things any easier.